everyone, it's Jess from Camera Bear Side. I'm here with Take a Breath in New York City. How was your show tonight? You're on the Emos Back tour. It's your first night in New York. So how did it go?
It was awesome. It was our first time playing in New York City. We usually play at Long Island, so it was really cool. We got a really good reaction. The crowd was pretty fun. More energy.
A lively crowd. It's really cool to be in New York City and see a lot of not only friends. There's a lot of friends here, but just people we've known from past shows and stuff. It's really cool.
Now, I was sitting in the audience and I saw a lot of fans singing your words back to you. What is that like? Have you had any cool fan experiences besides that? Any tattoos? And what is that like anyway? Just having people know your lyrics?
Yeah, there's been some cool ones. Our hometown shows just get louder literally every time. We played there last night and it was it feels like every time we play there, I'm like, that was the loudest crowd ever. And Chicago and Minnesota were really loud. It's cool, the places we've been before and the places we've been a couple times, it seems to be there's a little core group of people that are always singing at shows and stuff, and so that's pretty cool. I like that. It feels good to come play in New York City and hear people singing while we're playing. It's always a coll feeling.
Yeah, it's cool. There's always people singing back. There's at least a few people, and it's nice to know that that the lyrics are catching on. Pittsburgh is, I love New York City just because it's New York City and there's a lot of great people here, but Pittsburgh will always be home, and we figured that out last night. It's always insane, and it's a very small room that we play. There's no backstage, there's no green room. It's just a stage, and at the end, it was over and we all just kind of he sat down, Brian laid down, I just turned around, we all just kind of sat there because it just keeps getting better every single time. It's just this very solid home base.
It's never even it can't top that. I never really think about it because I'm so hung up on how well the show went, but then every single time I'm like, that might have been my favorite home show. It's just every time, it's really cool. It feels good, especially to have that hometown love, but then to come other places and still hear it is really cool. Especially for kind of a newer band, especially he's been in the band for a year, Ryan's been in the band for a year, so, and we've been touring kind of since August of last year. So to be on a full US tour and have people other places singing it, you don't realize it, but when you step out of it, it's that kind of came pretty far pretty fast, so it feels really cool. Definitely, absolutely.
Now, sticking with the hometown aspect, what do your family and friends back home feel about you guys being in a band, going on the road? Do your parents come out to the shows? Do your friends from high school reach out to you guys about your band?
Yeah, my dad was a musician and was on tour and stuff, and my mom loves it. My mom saw that I kind of found this on my own, that I kind of wanted to do this on my own. It wasn't something that was presented to me and I kind of just picked up. It was all on my own. They support the hell out of me and us and everything we do. They're always at shows. My dad mixes our hometown shows. He's a brilliant sound engineer. I have a very close-knit group of friends from home that I still kind of see when I'm home now, and they love it. They're they think it's cool that I'm doing something that I really enjoy and that I'm really passionate about.
Yeah. My friends think I'm living the life. My parents are fantastic. My parents are great. My dad was also a musician, and he and I sort of had different stories. He sort of found it on his own, and I sort of knew what I wanted to do, but I went to school for some time. I ended up leaving school, and so that didn't thrill my parents. But at the same time, I think it was kind of it was
dad saw us play and was okay.
My dad saw us play and knew. I think can I swear? I think that what happened was my parents knew, and then I went to school and they were like, "Oh my God, we got through it, we're gonna be okay." and then I left school and they were like, "Shit," but they knew it was coming. They knew it was coming the whole time, but I think they thought they might have had me in the regular life, and then it just slipped away from them. So I kind of feel bad about that. But yeah, they're great. They support it. My sister's probably my biggest supporter. She's at every yeah, right. Honestly, she's great.
Wonderful.
So. Yeah.
Now, just to backtrack and take it back to the beginning, where did your band, the name, come from, and how did you guys kind of get together?
We had a bunch of different band names that were all references to bands that we kind of really loved, All Time Low, Fall Out Boy, Yellow Card, just any kind of phrase that we could catch on to, and and
They were all equally
they were
as bad.
all terrible, and then this Take a Breath was the least shitty of the bunch, and that was kind of from it was like a bunch of different places because there were a bunch of different songs, but I guess the one lyric is the Take a Breath and Let the Rest Come Easy from All Time Low, Dear Maria Count Me In, and that was like originally we heard that and we were like, Take a Breath kind of has a ring to it, you know, and it kind of just stuck, and this is our third lineup. Mike and I were, and two other people were like our original lineup. We had another guitarist and bassist, and then him and Ryan joined. And since then, it's kind of like, it's felt like a unit a lot more. It's just felt, just speaking as someone who's like kind of been through the three stages of it, it feels way better. Which I guess it like kind of has to because we're on tour. So you know what I mean? But it definitely, behind the scenes, it moves a lot smoother. There's never any like, you're not doing enough. It's just like, what more could you be doing? You know, everyone kind of is down to take care of their responsibilities, which is nice because it's something you take for granted when you have like, just, it's when you take it seriously, and just some people just aren't as into it, you know? And but when you find people that are, it feels good, and it starts to click, and that's kind of where we feel like we're at. It's starting to feel like kind of natural going on stage, like the four of us and playing. I don't even think about it anymore, like having, instead of like when you don't have to look to your left or right to make sure that people are playing the right parts and that you're not like screwing up, it makes it a lot easier to be a front man and like a lot easier to play like in the rhythm section or do things. Yeah, it's cool to feel like it's kind of in the swing of things.
We all trust each other on stage.
Yeah, there's never any like, there's like, I'll hear things and like look over at people, but there's never any just like, dude, what the hell are you playing anymore? You know what I mean? So it's kind of cool. It feels good. But yeah, the name came from an All Time Low song, I guess. It did, but it didn't. Like everyone says it did, and it kind of did, but at the same time, it wasn't like we're gonna pick a name from an All Time Low song and then we did it.
Right.
Now, something I've noticed with you guys is you're very active on social media, which is great for this generation, these fans. They can connect with you guys. So how have you guys used it, and what have you found to be the most beneficial, whether it's like Instagram or Twitter or anything like that?
I think to speak first as the thing that most people don't really think about from an industry standpoint, being good at social media is kind of like a thing you kind of need to do, and it's not something I hate doing. So I kind of like watching the way it kind of like works and like looking at it and like navigating it. But being able to connect with people is incredible. Like we have people that like people will show up and I know them from Twitter. I know who they are from Twitter. I have conversations with them, and I've had conversations with them on the internet, or I see them like favorite my stuff, and I know that they're there, and like it's tough to reply to everybody, but they're like the people that like and like people like from the internet, and it's really really cool to like have those because all that makes it is easier to connect with people at shows, and it's nice because it's not like your social media is a direct correlation to like how many people come see you, but when those people come see you that were on like that you kind of know from like behind the scenes, it's always like you kind of have like a little inside like like friendship kind of thing before you even like really meet. I think that's really cool.
I think it makes you feel validated too that you're not just wasting your time like on the internet. But it's very weird knowing people by their Twitter handles. People will come up and be like, I'm this person, and I'm like, okay, and then they'll be like, it's at blah blah blah, and I'm like, oh my god, I know exactly who you are. It's really cool. It's like like you said, it's like this little inside connection. It's very weird, but it's a lot. So Twitter's definitely, what I mean? Right. Twitter's definitely been.
It's also it's nice to watch it like when you play certain cities and you start to notice more and more people telling you that they're coming to see you, like when you play that city the next time, like just marginally, like a couple more, but like on Twitter, it just has to be a couple. Like you notice it, like when it's a couple more people. I see everything, and like it makes me feel really good when I see things that are like really positive responses to our band, and you start to take for granted when that's all you like, not all you see, but when it's the majority of what you see, because you're like, okay, there's no bad, and you don't really like appreciate the good, but then you kind of step away from it and you look and you're like, people say like really incredible things about like what we're doing, and it really makes me feel like great. I can't have any complaints about that.
It's a very superficial thing, but we're all like pretty relatively aware of like not exactly how many followers we have, but we we can see a gradual, like when we're on tour, there's an obvious increase.
Yeah, when we're on tour, when I'm on tour, everything that I post is like has more way. Yeah, it's like a boost. Like there's just, and it's nice. It shows that like we, I guess, connect with people at shows, because I try and talk to as many people as I can a night. And it's cool to come places and like see people and be like, hey, like what's up? You know, like people who come to see you. It's like those little like kind of mini like bonds with people that I really like. Pretty much 95% of the people that I talk to, I met through our band now. You know what I mean? I have a completely different group of people, and it's cool to have the people that are like on the other side of it kind of like bleed into it too. You know what I mean?
It's the only way. It's odd for me to think about like the old days, whatever. But like when there wasn't social media, and because I feel like communication's a big part of the music industry now, and communicating with your fans, and maybe that's a new thing. I'm not sure, because it's all I've ever known, but it's the only way to communicate with the people who like your. Yeah, it's the only way to get. You know,
it's really important to connect with people, and it's something that I thoroughly enjoy doing. So it makes it's easy. It's not something I have to worry about. I just do it because I'm grateful for the people that care.
Right. When we have a tour coming up, that's where it gets announced. That's how you find out first. It's you know, it's all,
and that's crazy. But it's so nice to be able to just like see it all right in front of you, and like see the people like reacting to it, instead of, I guess, in the old days where it's like, I hope people are coming to our show, driving 8. I couldn't imagine. And that's like every old timer's like, and we're just like, yeah, like I couldn't imagine driving to like Seattle to not know if our promoter put their show like flyers up and stuff like that.
Too is that I don't know if people traveled back then, but you know, people travel for us. And I can only really
people come way farther than they should
to social media, because that's the only way you can really hear about.
Most of the people who travel, there's like, especially in Pittsburgh, there's a consistent flow of people who travel and see us, which is incredible. And all of those people know about us through social media. You know what I mean? Because especially before we played anywhere else, the people who would come, we knew were like the hardcore fans from other places, because they would drive from like North Carolina. Some girl flew from Dallas one time. It was incredible. Like I couldn't believe it. I was like, "You're from Texas?" We're in Pittsburgh.
We had never played outside of Pittsburgh at that
exactly.
point.
That was the moment that I was like,
lineup.
the moment where I was like, people actually like really care. When I started seeing that steady flow from other places before we could really go anywhere. But yeah, that's
started coming to us.
That's amazing.
Which is awesome.
Now, you guys are on the Emos Back tour, and that has also taken off online. They have the Facebook group that has like 1 million, members in it, like talking every day. What has been your experience with the Emos Back movement? And you guys are part of the tour. I know you're seeing like a lot of pop punk, a lot of stuff coming back out, and like Blink-182 is going on tour. How do you guys feel about that? And what are your what's your take? Because you're part of it now, so you're like in it.
I think. Well, I'm super stoked for Blink to go on tour, but I think it's the idea behind it is to build a scene, especially like knowing the people who like created the group and like being involved with the tour, whether or not like every band on this tour kind of sits in a different end of the rock genre, or like the pop punk kind of thing. And I think that the way that the group's being used, it's a tool to build a scene and like get people like to realize how much of a community there really is within like the world of bands that we kind of reside in. And I think it's awesome. I think I think it's a great concept. Like I think I love the idea behind it. You know what I mean? I think it's great. That's why we're part of the tour. I think it's great to be able to like kind of just have and like be like, hey, it's not like this band and this band's tour. It's like this is a tour with this. Then there's a Facebook group and it's a huge community, and like everyone should come out to the tour and come hang out and come to a show, because that's what it's about. And every night there might be people milling about, but every time a band plays, everyone's in the front of the stage. And I think that finding those people in that community really found like the music fans in all of our fan bases, and like the people who like care about our bands and the people that are involved with the tour. And it kind of just really, it's really fun to play for great crowds every night, and like great people who like want to come hang out and watch shows. We have so many people coming back, but we have so many new people that tell us that like they loved our set and they bought merch and they want to come see us again. And it's just like, that's really cool. It's cool to be a part of like a community kind of thing.
Yeah, the thing he said about building a scene is very cool because it's a scene that was sort of dying or that didn't even really exist. Well, it did exist, but it just hadn't like been like completely brought together.
It was, yeah.
And I talked to
pulling different aspects of it.
Right. I talked to Benji from Best Kept Secret, and he was sort of explaining to me their whole thought process about it, and it was very intriguing what he said, and just I won't get too much into it, but it's very well thought out, and it makes us feel very welcomed into the scene and into the music community, and it makes us feel like we're doing our own part with this whole thing. It's very cool.